Now, I like using a chair because everyone has one. I generally don't use it with arms. And you can do a lot of different stretches. For one thing, I don't like sitting with my back against the chair. I'm going to give you a side view of this.
We get comfortable and we collapse,
yeah.
don't we?
Oh, you go like
That's
this.
That's the American way.
Yeah.
Give me a back rest.
So getting up to the front of your chair and being away from the back is really good. Now, this is a twist stretch, and I do want to emphasize it's very important never to force a twist.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand back here to the corner of my chair. My other hand is going to go to my opposite knee. Now, I have my navel to my spine, so I'm going to protect my low back, my core, lifting up through the back of the neck, and then twist. Just a gentle twist. Shoulders move, and if you want, depending on how your neck feels, you can look over your shoulder. But if you have neck issues, you may want to look straight ahead. Just a gentle, gentle twist. If ever, especially with the twist, you want to watch that.
It's like there's a pole going down here.
Exactly.
And you're pivoting right around that pole. Nothing's breaking down. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. The goal is not to turn as much as possible. The goal is to turn in a controlled manner with good posture. Okay. Now, another stretch that is really good. Say you have to be sitting for a long time. Computer, you're writing, you're doing a lot of sitting in a car. Something else that's really good for a stretch, because what happens when you sit, this gets tight. Your hip flexor gets tight. So what I like to do is stretch that out. So what I do is I put one leg on the seat of the chair. You don't have to hold on to the back at all. And then your other leg you stick back. The straighter this leg is, the more intense that stretch is going to be. You also want to press your hips forward, so you don't want to be turned out like this. You want to have your hips square in front of you. And again, you want to watch your back, making sure you're not arching your back. If your back hurts, you can always lean forward a little bit, supporting your body weight with your arms.
So some people, their leg might not be able to go far back. You know, what I notice when I see people stretching is we have this idea of how it's supposed to look, and then we rotate out of the stretch. So it's so critical you keep your hips in that right spot.
Right. If your hips are like this and it's too intense, you can always bend your back knee. Gives you a really nice stretch. Plus, it protects your knees. You're not kneeling. Because if someone has knee issues, or they have nice pants, they don't want to get messed up.
That too.
There you go.
Yeah.
So also another thing is the navel to the spine. Imagine you're being lifted up and lifted up so that you have a nice frontal stretch and your back is supported. Okay. Always, of course, if you do it on one side, you want to do it on the other. Another thing, of course, we got the front all nice and stretched. Now we want to get the back of the leg stretched, the hamstring. What I like to do is I stick one foot forward. And again, I'm at the front of my chair, no, not leaning back. And a lot of the stretches, it's mental. A lot of it is mental. You want to press your hips back. Imagine that your hips are being pulled back and your ribs are being pressed forward. Go ahead and rest your hand on your knee. Now, if you want, see my foot is flexed, so I'm also getting a nice little stretch in my calf. I'm getting a stretch in my hamstring and my low back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strap or my packing strap or my belt and have a nice little stretch like that. Because not everyone can touch their toes, and that's fine. You don't need to.
You know what I notice when people try to touch their toes or bend forward like this, Connie, they bend here first.
Do this.
And they miss the motion here in the hips. And I noticed your motion, your back was real straight, and all the motion was in the pelvis. And that's where the hamstring stretch comes from.
Right.
And I'm amazed at how people's rhythm of movement, they go to touch their toes. They have no flexibility here at all. So when they go down like that, they're not going to go down as far as you.
Right.
And the focus on stretching right there at the hips.
Exactly.
And they'll feel it back there.
Exactly. Now this also is a gentler hamstring stretch. You can also do this on the floor. And I'm sure you've seen this. Here, I'm going to come on down to the floor. People are flexed feet, and then they're going like this, their shoulders are bowed, and they're going to touch their toes whether it kills them or not.
Yeah.
But really what you want to do is you want to keep your back straight, pressing your hips back again, the ribs forward, and go ahead and put the strap. Use a strap, use your belt. Get that nice stretch.
That back is nice and straight again.
Is it? I hope so.
Yeah.
That's real important. You can also use this for, I'm going to come onto my back. You can also use this around the bottom of your foot and hold on to it like this. The nice thing with this is you want your leg as straight as possible with no pain behind the knee. So if there is pain, you can soften it up a little bit. My recommendation would be to go out away from the body. Again, this is about the same angle as when I was sitting on the chair. The more you bring the foot like you want to go over your head, the more intense that stretch will be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm holding the strap in the same side hand as my foot, right hand. I'm going to take my other arm straight out from my body and then drop that leg open. Again, gravity is doing such a wonderful job. I mean, you don't really have to do anything but sort of lay there, keeping your belly button pressed in towards your spine and making sure it's not arching up. Then you take that same leg up, you hold that for a little bit, switch hands, bring your other arm out, and then drop your leg across.
That is great.
Probably want to straighten out your bottom leg and over. That way you're supported and you get a real nice stretch in your outer hip, a little bit of a twist in the low back. Again, you just listen to your body, and if there is any pain, you want to, it's just your body saying you need to ease up. Okay? Now we've talked a lot about the lower back and the lower body. And what we're going to do now is what I did. Okay.
There we go.
We're going to do upper body. A nice stretch with the upper body, especially the triceps. This can get real tight. I showed you a little bit of the bicep, but the tricep is a little different. I'm going to take my strap and show you my back. Take the strap and drop your hand down your spine. You grab the strap with both hands. Now, what you want to make sure you don't do is put your head forward. A lot of people they think they need to put their head forward. You need to be straight up. If you have shoulder injuries and you need to bring your arm up here like that, that's fine. You can also help it like this. Where you're going to get that is a nice stretch in your tricep. And something else you can do, I'm going to use with no strap, and then I'm going to show you with the strap, is a nice chest stretch using your hands. Now I have my palms up, and I'm bringing my shoulder blades down and back, and it's a nice stretch. Now the farther back you go, the more intense that stretch is going to be on your chest. Something that you can do, as long as it doesn't hurt your elbow and your wrist, is put your palm down on one arm. As long as it doesn't hurt your elbow or your wrist. If it does, you can always turn your palm up.
Now, if people are much tighter than you, which 95% of the people are, they could grab a towel or a small PVC piping and just go back as well.
Right.
And then work toward being able to grab their hands, because don't get frustrated. If you can't do it the way Connie's doing, realize most people probably can't, but be encouraged, okay? And I love the fact you gave us such a great variety of stretches. When's the best time to stretch relative to your workout? Before, during, or after? All the above, right?
You do want to make sure your body is warm. So you do want to do maybe a 5-minute warm-up, walk up and down the stairs a couple times, walk around the house. You want to make sure that your muscles are warm. But, I mean, they don't have to be hot. And you can do a stretch. You just want to make sure that your muscles are firing on all cylinders. You know, you just want to make sure that they're not stiff.
Yeah, yeah. And if you stop lifting weights and you don't stretch, your muscles remain tight. So by stretching after your workout, you get into the recuperation mode, which is really critical. Once again, my friend, I'm so grateful to know you and have you sharing stuff with our viewing audience. Flexibility, it's really important. Use the ideas Connie shared with us today, and you'll have less injuries, and you'll probably enjoy life a lot longer. Thanks, Connie.
Thank you.